Well, demonstrators gathered outside the Stonewall Inn in New York City Thursday night as a show of support for transgender youth. They were speaking out against the Trump administration after it reversed Obama administration guidance on school bathroom use, ending protections put in place for transgender students. Under the former president, students could use bathrooms based on the gender they identified with. But the Trump administration says it's a decision states and school districts should make. Here's what Education Secretary Betsy DeVos had to say about this on Thursday.
Well, I think the statement spoke to it for itself and to a large extent. But let me just say that this issue was a very huge example of the Obama administration's overreach to suggest a one-size-fits-all federal government approach, top-down approach to issues that are best dealt with and solved at a personal level and a local level. And I have made clear from the moment I've been in this job that it's our job to protect students and to do that to the fullest extent that we can, and also to provide students, parents, and teachers with more flexibility around how education is delivered and how education is experienced, and to protect and preserve personal freedoms.
Dr. S.J. Miller is the Deputy Director of Educational Equity Supports and Services at New York University, and he joins us now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, S.J., tell me a little bit about yourself and what you made of Betsy DeVos's comments today.
Sure. So first of all, I think it's important to put my identity out there because I speak not only on behalf of trans youth, but I am a trans academic. I am one of very few tenured transgender academics in teacher education in the United States. And we have very few female to male trans people in the media talking about these issues. So I think it's important that we're here and that we speak up and we speak out and we speak loud on behalf of all of our constituents. I am deeply concerned about this rollback. Not only am I concerned because I believe that the policies are dangerous, but it has created a widespread hysteria and fear in not only our children, but the parents, the communities in which they are engaging, as well as their parents. I was able to pan out a little bit yesterday on live stream to watch what was going on in front of the White House, and there are kids crying. They're hysterical. They don't feel safe to go back into schools. And when you have a rollback like this, it sends a very clear message that these kids don't matter, that there's an erasure going on, there's a push-out going on, and I believe that this bathroom situation is the first of many that are going to be taken away from kids.
Explain for our viewers who may not understand or may not know why this is such an important issue, the question of which bathroom a person can use.
Yeah, so I think people take for granted in general that they need to go to the bathroom, and where do they need to go to the bathroom? And for young kids, I mean, they don't necessarily care early on, but that becomes policed into them and socialized into them later in life, where they want to be in a bathroom where they feel safe and they feel comfortable. And what's happened now is that other kids are feeling threatened when a trans kid comes into a bathroom and they start mocking them and teasing them because they don't feel like they belong there and that their safety is in jeopardy, not the trans kid.
And so when you hear from the Secretary of Education, from the President, that this decision should be left to the states and not the federal government, what's your reaction to that?
You know, I used to believe that states' rights matter, and I do think in many cases they do matter. But now I've had to rethink and dial back my own perspectives because, first of all, what I know about what Obama did, and I don't think that he overreached, but he did not put the federal guidance out for public comment, and because of that, there's been an upsurge of criticism, and in fact, those letters are what are being debated right now, along with the Gavin Grimm case. So we're very concerned about both of those being enacted, and so with regard to the federal guidance, taking away bathroom privileges, I think, is the first step of many other rollbacks that we're going to see come down the case. And we know that the word sex, that's what's at hand, the issue of the word sex and the way that it was interpreted from within the Title IX documents, is really what's being debated. So, go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, so that's what's being debated. And I think that in whatever way that is found to rule, it's going to have deep consequences for the remainder of the guidance. And now that Trump has appointed his own people within the OCR, all of these protections could be taken away entirely.
Clearly, you are able to speak about the issues that young trans kids may be feeling and going through. How would you explain to parents who don't understand that, who say, look, I'm completely fine with transgender people, but I'm concerned about my own children. If you had to take sort of their point of view and walk a mile in their shoes, what would you say to them for them to understand?
I would say that identity is on a continuum. I would say that all of us are in current states of being and understanding ourselves, and I would ask those parents to dial back their own thinking and memories to their own childhood and ask, are you the same person you were when you were a child? And think about the natural trajectory that you took as an adult or as a person to get to where you are now as an adult, and think about your child in those shoes. You have no idea the direction that your own child is going to go, and that every child has a right to gender self-determination and to justice within his or her or her lives, and that children should be allowed to express and experience an identity, be a trailblazer, be a forager, and just be free to be whoever they need to be.
There have been a lot of companies, businesses that have sided against what the president has indicated he wants to do. They've pulled out of concerts, for example. Sports teams have made it clear that they're not happy about it. When you hear that, does that give you some level of hope?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that the uptick of all of these rollbacks and the other dangerous policies that are coming out of DC are going to impact businesses, that people start to defund certain areas and certain organizations, and that they do pull out. I think that the way that we fight back is to hit Trump where life matters to him, which is in his deep pockets.
And finally, what's your message? Because what is happening now is the government is saying, look, it's going to be left up to the states and the individual school districts to make these decisions. What's your message to them, to the educators, to the school districts?
Be bold. Think about the children. Think about their need to be in an environment that's free of bullying and harassment. Studies show that kids' motivation and cognition shut down. They are impacted. They're not able to think and process and be present and be recognized. And that these policies have to support kids and their academic and emotional and psychological well-being. And that schools need to be vigilant, they need to fight, they need to support their kids and their teachers together, as well as their community members. And they need to figure out how to create coalitions, not only within school districts, but statewide, and then across the country. And we need to band together, we need to fight back, and we need to keep growing that and grow the momentum, because it's there. There's a groundswell, and people are upset, they're motivated, they are ready to take back the schools in ways I don't think we've ever seen before.
Well, thank you so much for coming by and spending some time with us and explaining this. It's really great to have you on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
S.J. Miller, we really appreciate the insight. Thanks so much.
Thank you.